Middle meat banger here meat and one admittedly I'm truly torn on. I do not know who to roll with in this one, so I'm hopeful that as you usually do, you'll present a compelling case for either Roman Dolidze or Jack Hermansson. And right away, I was interested to notice how the line has jumped early. Right, Dolidze was around plus 125. He's almost swelled to around plus 160, plus 170 range. So a lot of early action coming in on the Joker, who was around a minus 150, and now you'll see him closer to a minus 175, minus 180 favorite. And it makes sense, right? He did impress in that most recent fight. I think we were both surprised that he was able to just completely outclass Chris Curtis. Spoiled milk in that one. A fight where Jack Hermansson was able to just like keep the fight where he wanted to on the feet. It seemed like the opponent Chris Curtis was just unable to cut off the cage, and Hermansson kind of danced around him and really had an effective game plan that completely frustrated Chris Curtis out of contention in that one. And it was a nice win because before that he lost that split decision in a main event to Sean Strickland. I thought that that was a clear Sean Strickland victory, so I was a little surprised that that ended up being a split decision. And he had that win over Edmund Shabazian before that, a loss to Vettori before that. So it's been alternated wins and losses for Jack Hermansson, who is 23-7, 10-5 in the UFC, a guy that really has been around for a long time and has essentially fought the who's who in the middleweight division. So I'm curious to see if Roman Dolidze is ready for this one, because as the wise Thermopylae said, you can never bet against a Georgian underdog, and what do you know, you're getting Dolidze as a Georgian underdog in this one. And this is a guy who's won 3 straight. He's 5-1 in the UFC. His only hiccup was that loss to Trevin Giles, where it made you kind of wonder how good Dolidze is. The fact that he lost to Trevin Giles in that contest, but he's rifled off 3 straight nice wins. Staropoli, Kyle Dawkins, whose face he absolutely shattered, and then Phil Hawes most recently. And in those last 2 contests, he picked up performance of the night bonuses. So what are your thoughts on this matchup overall? Do you think that Dolidze is ready for the levels test that Jack Hermansson brings? Or similar to the Chris Curtis versus Jack Hermansson fight where Hermansson just completely outclassed, leveled him? Do you think that might happen here, or are you taking the Georgian dog?
Yeah, this is such a great matchup. True levels test for the Georgia dog, but yeah, like you said, Thermopylae, he's never wrong when it comes to those Georgian underdogs, so it's really hard to go against it. But if you look at Jack Hermansson, coming off a nice win versus Chris Curtis, but Chris Curtis is a one-trick pony, only throws punches. Really isn't the best fighter. Not sure how he ever won a fight, which is questionable to all the people he has beat. But split versus Sean Strickland, that was a close fight. But if you look at the other fighters that he's lost to, Jared Cannonier, Martin Vettori, Thiago Santos, what do they all have in common? Absolute savages and explosive, and usually a lot of power. If it's grappling power or punching power, that's what all 3 of them have in common. And Roman Dolidze has it all. His jiu-jitsu is absolutely insane. His grappling is insane, and his striking, as we just saw him shatter the world, absolutely insane. So I'm scared for Jack's life. He could get sent to the Shadow Realm with Mr. Dawkins. Or he could just get pummeled on the ground, like Marvin Vettori kind of did to Jack. So I really see wherever this goes, Roman's gonna smash. I mean, I would be mind blown if Jack Hermansson can pull off a submission, because that's usually how he wins. He's won most of his fights with that. It's been a long time since he's gotten a KO. And I just don't see how he beats Roman Dolidze unless he can get a submission, which would not happen, which then it would argue there's no way he's getting a knockout. He can't knock out anyone. But then it would be, okay, he gets a decision like he did versus Chris Curtis. But Chris Curtis is a one-trick pony when Roman Dolidze is going to go for the takedown. He's going to throw leg kicks. He's going to throw body kicks. He's going to throw elbows. He's not going to just throw punches and you can dance around him and kick him in the leg. And Roman Dolidze is on a whole other level compared to Chris Curtis. So I think this is another Georgia underdog lock, and I got to ride with my boy Roman Dolidze once again.
Yeah, good stuff. You have been riding Dolidze for a while, and he's cashed 3 straight fights. So it seems as if I'm not on board yet, maybe now's the time. But I'm just curious how this one goes against Jack Hermansson, because I like the comparisons that you make, and I like how you said he won't be able to do what he did to Chris Curtis to him because he has a much more well-rounded skill set when compared to Chris Curtis. But I do wonder, do you think that Dolidze is going to like immediately try to get this thing to the mat? And if so, does Jack Hermansson have the takedown defense necessary to prevent it from getting there? Or if it does go down there, I mean, Jack Hermansson's pretty slick too. He has some nice jiu-jitsu off his back. I don't think he'll have the strength advantage when it comes to Dolidze, but is it possible that Hermansson might be comfortable with this fight hitting the mat, or do you see him trying to prevent it from getting there at all costs and succeeding?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I think Jack Hermansson's only path to victory is to wrestle him, tire him out, and beat him like that with a gritty decision. But I just think Roman Dolidze is too strong and his grappling's better. Like, Jack Hermansson's grappling is no joke, but I truly think Roman Dolidze is a whole other monster. He just had a one pump chump accident, kind of like how the Jag did recently. So those come with a little grant, and same with Michel Pereira. He had a one pump chump. Actually it happened two times basically. Yeah, I think Roman is, he's a top five fighter. He's gonna get a title fight soon. He's a savage and he has insane KO power. So I think it would be in Jack's best interest to try to go to the ground. To be honest, I don't think he's gonna want to stand and bang because if Roman hits him with a meat bomb later, I think Roman packs a way bigger punch than Jared Cannonier, and Jared Cannonier sent, the Joker to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, that was tough to watch, right? He really just like beat the brakes off of Jack Hermansson. Hermansson was like flailing from the bottom, eating heavy ex-heavyweight meat bombs from Cannonier, and that was tough for sure. So if Dolidze is able to crack Hermansson with something similar, whether it's one of those Cannonier like flurry of punches or one of those brutal Dawkins face smashing knees, it might be a bad night for Jack Hermansson for sure. Another question I do have for you though: do you think that this fight on the feet, like, let's say that Jack is able to prevent Dolidze from getting this fight to the mat, and he wants to make it a point of emphasis to dance around, point fight, Wonder Boy style, similar to how he did against Chris Curtis. Do you think that Hermansson might have the just not necessarily the power or the speed advantage, but the overall striking IQ advantage? And if so, could that be a pathway for Hermansson, like just ticking away on the feet and winning a decision? Or do you think that that's even playing with fire too, given the punch that Dolidze packs?
Yeah, I think that's playing with fire because Roman Dolidze isn't just gonna let him kick him in the legs. Like Milk Boy, dude, he didn't check one kick, he didn't block one kick to the body, he just ate them and was like, come on, fight me. It's like, dude, you're getting your butt whooped right now and you're crying about it. Like, what? Roman Dolidze is a Georgian brother. These guys do not mess around. They don't care. They are savages and they're gonna go to the end. So this is gonna be a big barn burner or a boring fight till Jack gets knocked out.
Maybe for sure. And if you're all over it, then I can't even say I'd be impressed. It'll just be to be expected because you have been riding Dolidze and with a lot of success recently. So I don't blame you at all. And Tapology, 40% is rolling Dolidze. Most of it is Brown. They think that KO is most likely. 60% rolling with the Joker. Most by decision, so perhaps they think that it's similar to that how Chris Curtis fight played out, and he's able to dance around, win a decision on the feet. A little bit of copper for that sub, a very slight sliver for that Brown. I'm surprised there's even 1% for the Hermansson KO because that seems like a pipe dream. But hey, given MMA, maybe that is what goes down ultimately. But in this one, I think you do bring a compelling case, and even if you didn't, I mean, Thermopylae told us many eons ago never to bet against a Georgian dog, but for some reason, like when it comes to Georgian dog recently, I don't know if I'm just not learning my lesson or I'm just still believing that Jack Hermansson has a sliver of hype remaining that I got to roll with Jack Hermansson in this one. I don't know. I look at Dolidze's resume. I see his wins. Kadis Abragimov, John Allen, a fight that was very close, and John Allen is not a good fighter. And then Staropoli, not great. Kyle Dawkins, not great. Phil Hawes, pretty decent, but we don't quite know what Phil Hawes' ceiling is yet. And I think just to make this short notice jump into a always top 10 steady levels test guy like the Joker, I think it's going to be too much too soon. But if it's not too much too soon and Dolidze is able to sleep Hermansson, the sky might be the limit because this is a division that I think of all the divisions in the UFC is one of the more wide open ones. I mean, we saw Poatan get a UFC fight and ultimately get a UFC championship fight and a UFC championship belt in just a couple fights. So if Dolidze goes out and shatters Jack's face like he did against Kyle Dawkins, he might only be 1 or 2 fights away from something massive for sure. So I'm going to take Jack Hermansson by decision, but there is a part of me that's rooting for Dolidze because let's see how far I can take this, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. I think if Roman gets this done, I think he deserves, Cannonier, Costa, or Bobby Knuckles. Those would be great. And that'd be a true levels test to see if he's truly ready for a belt shot. But yeah, this is gonna show a lot. It's gonna be interesting. Like you said, is Jack still Jack? How we used to be hype on him, or is he kind of washed up? And the new era of Roman Dolidze, Georgia brother, is going to smash. But smash, subscribe, throw a comment. Who you taking, the Dolidze or Joker?